From the station that made country music famous, 650 AM WSM, this is a Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Hey, it's Charlie Mattos, and in this episode of our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast, we visit with Colton Dixon. First met Colton on season 11 of American Idol. What a great season that was. It also featured Lauren Elena. Scotty McCrary was on that season as well. Since American Idol a decade ago, Colton has had 4 #1 albums on the Billboard charts, and he would join us right before making his Grand Ole Opry debut. Enjoy our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast with Colton Dixon.
I've known him for a long, long time. He said, this is pretty special for a hometown boy.
Yeah.
Joining us this morning and on his way to the Grand Ole Opry with you, Charlie Mattos, on Friday night.
Oh, it's going to be a fun Friday, indeed. Yep, absolutely.
Murfreesboro representing. You know, we already got one in Opry membership, Chris Young.
Oh, that's
yes, that's right. I knew that. Honored to be in very good company with Chris.
And when was it you first met? Was it season 10 of Idol when he and his sister auditioned?
Was that the first year that you auditioned? Because it was the first year you auditioned. We are at Bridgestone Arena. I'm there on a morning show that was a Fox affiliate. So they were like, get down there and find all these people that are going into the arena. And I randomly pull Colton and his sister Skylar out of line and talk to them and interview them live. And I think you may have even sung a little bit for me there.
Probably did.
Got to be friends with the family and kept in touch. And then the following season, you went back and you were on the show again. And we were just overwhelmed and so supportive and so excited for you and watching what was happening. And we've been friends ever since.
Long time friends.
It makes my heart so happy. And I'm so excited that you get to be on there. And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you so much.
What a week.
I know, what a fun week. Birthday celebrations, all week. It's been so much fun. We're going to wrap it at the Opry on Friday. Can't wait.
What's interesting about that is Alana Springsteen debuted at the Opry last night.
Okay.
And we didn't know when she was visiting us earlier in the week that it was her birthday, and it's Charlie's. Yesterday was Charlie's birthday.
All Libra all the time on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
October's a good month to have a birthday.
Now, the funny thing is, in the grand scheme of life, 10 years is not a huge period of time. But does that seem another lifetime ago, or does it seem like yesterday?
Both.
Okay.
Parts of that experience and journey seem like a lifetime ago. It's like, wow, like that really seems like 20, 30 years ago. But then I will remember certain things and I'm like, oh man, I feel like we just had that conversation yesterday, with some of the contestants or people behind the scenes, or even with Kelly, meeting Kelly outside Bridgestone. I'm like, I totally remember that. It feels like yesterday.
It's crazy.
Wild.
Absolutely crazy. And then watching that journey, I mean, you and Skylar both very musical. You kind of already knew you wanted to do some type of music.
Sure.
But I think watching you on that show, we were seeing in real time where your heart was with the music and when you decided, I want to do CCM. Because I could imagine that the forces that were playing on you were saying, oh, no, you should be more pop. You should be more country. You should trying to get you to go into a different lane.
Yes. Growing up in church, I always gravitated toward Christian music and had a heart for it because it met me where I was at, so many times. And being on a show like Idol, you're right. You're kind of pushed and pulled in a million different directions. But I kind of just knew early on. It's like, this is what I feel called to do, and I'm going to let God take the reins and see where it winds up. But the songs I started writing, it was really obvious where he wanted me, and I'm so happy that I'm still getting to do this 10 years later. Blows my mind. Yeah.
Did you do the church you attended? Did they do contemporary Christian music, or did they do hymns, or did they do a blended service?
Kind of a blend of both. They would occasionally throw in a hymn, but
did you sing out of the book, or did you sing off the wall?
Off the wall. Yeah, I like that. I've never heard that before, and I like that.
Kind of taints it, doesn't it? As a preacher's kid, growing up singing out of a hymnal my whole life.
You'll be happy because we're going to bust out just a snippet of a hymn on Friday at the Opry.
All right.
So we're going to do you justice.
You'll tell everybody to turn to page 97.
That's right. We're going to do it off the wall.
So, since you grew up so close, have you ever been to an Opry show?
I have.
Yeah.
I have been to the Opry. It's so funny. I feel like it's people who live close to the beach. You ask them if they go to the beach all the time. It's like, wow, it's right there. And they're like, well, we don't get out as often as we'd like to. But I've been a few times, and it's always so special. Again, growing up right outside of Nashville, it is when people ask me like, hey, what to do in Nashville, first time, I'm like, go to the Opry. That's what you do.
Yeah. I
So-
think it's even cooler that you've been in the stands in those seats, and now you'll know what it's like to stand on the stage looking out at those seats.
That's right. I can't even imagine what that's going to feel like. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
So you were in high school choir.
I was.
How dramatic was that influence on continuing to go forward with
it
your
helped
music?
me kind of figure out on the more technical side how to sing properly, and man, we just had a really fun group. We were not a extremely talented group of people.
Where'd you go to high school? What high school?
Middle Tennessee Christian School.
Okay.
And at the time, I can't speak for it now, we tried real hard, and our choir director was just the most patient guy. I love Sean, still do. Sean Frazier, if you're listening, you're amazing and so patient with us. But we had a blast, and I learned a lot about my voice then, and got to do a couple things, even with Tennessee State Choir and things like that. And we actually met here at Opryland Hotel for something bigger than just our school, which was fun, but really fun season. Yeah. It was a good time.
And catch us up on your family. What
so
they did as you were growing up and what's going on in their lives now.
So my grew up in a church home. My parents have always been a big influence for my sister and I. They're entrepreneurs, so they do everything from painting faces at Predators games to owning an axe throwing business down in Murfreesboro. They own an escape room business in Murfreesboro. The list just doesn't stop. My dad was also a postmaster for United States Postal Service for a long time. It's just...
How many pages is the disclaimer waiver for the axe throwing thing if I wanted to do that?
You would think it would be longer. That was one of my questions when they were interested. I'm like, so what kind of liability insurance do you have here? And they're like, it's not as bad as you might think. Like, okay. Knock on wood, we haven't had any serious injuries. But they're a hoot. And then I got married just a little over 6 years ago. My wife and I had twins. She had twins. I got to cheer on 2 years ago. So their names are Athens and Dior, two girls. And it's just... Such a fun
that changes
house.
everything, doesn't
Changes
it?
everything. Our family doubled in size overnight.
I was with Jen Wayne of Runaway June last night backstage, catching up. We hadn't seen each other in a while. And I said, well, welcome to that new chapter in your life. It's the first time I've seen you since the baby. And she goes, can I tell you something, Bill? I had to run home to take care of her. I guess they came early and did their sound check, and then she ran home and was coming back because they had the last slide on the Opry last night.
Okay.
And she said, and she threw up all over me. So I had to completely change my outfit that I had planned to wear to the Opry.
Nothing keeps you more humble.
Yeah.
Nothing keeps you more humble.
That's the most motherhood story I've ever heard.
Now, is everybody coming Friday? Everyone's going to be
Yeah,
in?
we've got a big gang of people coming on Friday. We were allotted a certain number of comps, and my family pushed it to the limit.
So the lesson we've learned this morning is bring an extra set of clothing to the Opry House
No
just
kidding.
in case.
Especially if you have 2-year-old twins.
That's right, man. That's right. You never know.
Well, Colton, we're going to continue here in a moment our conversation with you in studio, and again on his way to the Opry for his Friday night debut. Colton Dixon is here, and the first thing that people will hear and see, we teased it, came out of the break with it on a bump there, but Build a Boat. Set this song up for us.
Yeah, this song's all about crazy faith. It's about the story of Noah, and a story that I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with, whether you're in church or not. But I love how simple the Bible describes this story. Is God asked Noah to build an ark, and Noah was obedient. And I think so often in my own life, it's not that simple. I wrestle with God on things He's asked me to do, and I just realized that I would be the fool if I didn't do what God's asked me to do, because He's trying to get something good to me. So the song's all about stepping out and having faith even when you don't see it.
What's the scripture say? That he found favor in the eyes of the Lord, right?
Hey, that's right. Yes, sir. Come on. I'm the church guy in here.
Preacher's kid.
I love it. Even better.
You get better. You just never quite get well. Colton Dixon, good morning. 15 minutes without hearing miracles from our special guest, Colton Dixon. Money back guarantee. Ask me how I know.
That's awesome.
I love that.
They are lighting you up, and there's something about that when you're driving down the road and that comes on. it just kind of permeates you and everything around you.
I love that, man. That's one of the best compliments about that song I've heard. Thank you.
Is it an original?
It is an original. Yeah, we got in the studio one day with a songwriter legend who's no longer with us. His name is Busby. And
Carly Pierce famously produced by Busby.
Yeah, just, man, what an amazing guy, great family. And we got in the studio one day, and the third writer, Michael Jade, was like, hey, I've got this little idea, and it was about miracles, but the way he was talking about them, it was so relatable. We think about the word miracles as this huge grand spectacle of a thing, and the way he was presenting it was so casual. And I'm like, wow, like how often do I miss out on the miracles in my own life? Like the fact that we woke up with breath in our lungs this morning is quite remarkable. So we wrote about that. It's like, let's give credit where credit's due, and maybe encourage people not to miss out on the little things that we take for granted sometimes.
Well, sonically, it's just so big.
Thank you. That is Busby, my friend. He's a genius. So thankful for him.
Did you actually skydive? Because you have a parachute in the video, you have the pack still on, and I'm like, did they push Colton out of a plane?
Kelly, if I would have skydived out of a plane, we would have filmed it.
I was going to say.
That would have not gone to waste.
Could you imagine somebody didn't roll on it and they were like, oh, we missed it. You're going to have to do it again.
Yeah, fired.
Where did the idea come from? Because it's beautiful, just the way that it's all shot for that video.
Yeah, I agree. It was, you can have the worst camera in the world. If you have a beautiful scene like that, it's just going to be magic. And the whole team just did an amazing job. But we wanted to kind of tell this story of, like, the song kind of talks about being in a dry place, needing some help, and God found me at a young age and kind of showed me how to do things in some ways, so to speak. So we wanted to tell that story, and we were out at the Salton Sea. Which is close to Joshua Tree out in California, and it was just gorgeous, so gorgeous. Fun fact about the Salton Sea is it smells terrible.
Oh,
because it used to be a man-made lake that dried up, and all the fish died.
Oh,
it is. I'm very glad that music videos do not bring smell with them, because it would not be near as pleasant.
Well, heck, you could have gone down to the Cumberland River and gotten that. I mean, you didn't need to go that far.
Right, you are, my friend.
True story.
But still a fun day, nonetheless.
So I understand that Opry star Lauren Elena was pulling for you on
Oh my gosh,
Idol. Do you guys know
Lauren.
each other well?
I do know Lauren. We were on season 10 of American Idol together with Scotty McCreery as well, and she's such a sweetheart. I've run into her, over the years, once at an airport, and she's always just so sweet, so supportive, and she's killing it as well. So,
isn't she?
So happy for her. Yeah, it's amazing. Something in the water over at American Idol. You know?
Do you still watch? I have
we
not.
do.
Okay, I wondered. I haven't watched it in a long time because my friends aren't on it anymore. But
I get it.
in seeing the seasons and how long it's gone on, I just wonder: is there still some curiosity because you've lived that life?
There are certain aspects of the show or of the season where I have to just disconnect myself because I know too much, or I know how it feels being in Hollywood Week or whatever. I'm like, oh, I feel for them so bad right now. But man, you learn so much about music, and it's cool to see other people going through a similar thing and having people around them who are on the same journey. It's technically a competition, but when you're there, it's just a big family. You're all rooting each other on, and Lauren being so supportive is just proof of that. We were all rooting each other on the whole time.
Colton, thanks for coming in this morning. Congratulations on your Friday Opry debut.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Extra special again for a native, so thank you.
An Opry debut. It's kind of like miracle. A miracle.
There you go.
Look at you.
Look at you.
See what I did there? On 650 AM WSM and Circle Television. Colton Dixon.
Thanks for listening to our Coffee, Country, and Cody podcast. Our program director at WSM Radio is J. Patrick Tinnell. Our digital producer is Haley Hall. Marketing and promotions director is Amanda Cannon. And I'm Charlie Matos. If you like what you've heard, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help new people find the show.